Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Yankee Stadium. The New York Yankees are proud to join in with all of Major League Baseball in celebrating the first ever Lou Gehrig Day. June 2nd was chosen because it's both the date that Lou made his first start at first base, a place where he would play every game for the next 14 years, as well as the date that he tragically passed away at the age of 37 from ALS. On June 2nd, 1925, Gehrig began his legendary streak of 2,130 consecutive games played, which ended on April 30th, 1939, a record that would stand for more than 60 years. Gehrig's career is highlighted with 2 American League Most Valuable Player awards, a Triple Crown, 6 World Series championships, 7 All-Star Game appearances, and the 1934 American League batting title. His farewell speech to baseball on July 4, 1939, amid the struggles of a debilitating disease, displayed the humanity and grace that has become synonymous with his legacy. He was elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1939 and succumbed to ALS on June 2, 1941. Lou Gehrig Day focuses on 3 pillars: remembering the legacy of Gehrig and all those lost to the disease that bears his name, raising awareness and funds for research of ALS, and celebrating the groups and individuals who have pursued for cures. This special occasion follows a campaign led by the Lou Gehrig Day Committee, which is made up of a group consisting of people with ALS, caregivers of ALS, and family with ALS. They are proud to represent the ALS community to raise funds and find cures. Tonight, the New York Yankees are very pleased to have very special guests in attendance for the inaugural Lou Gehrig Day. First, the Yankees recognize from the Rip Van Winkle Foundation Chief Executive Officer Rod Howell and President John Howell. Rod is the son-in-law and John the grandson of Lou Gehrig's friend and personal physician, Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn. Dr. Esselstyn and his family remain close friends of Eleanor Gehrig after Lou's death, and she bequeathed a portion of her estate from the Lou Gehrig Society to help support the Rip Van Winkle Foundation. Next, we welcome some of the caregivers and family of ALS to Yankee Stadium. In the summer of 2014, the Ice Bucket Challenge was a historic movement that pioneered social media fundraising and garnered $115 million in donations globally that resulted in better access to ALS care, genetic discoveries, and treatments. The challenge was created by 2 men. Pete Frates was a former captain of the Boston College baseball team and played professionally in Europe. Pete was diagnosed with ALS in March of 2012 at the age of 27. His warmth, generosity, and infectious smile were just a few of the things that made Pete so special. Pete passed away from ALS on December 19, 2019, at the age of 34. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Frates family. The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge can also thank Pat Quinn, who was born and raised in Yonkers, where he attended Iona Prep and then went on to Iona College, where he played rugby and graduated in 2006 with a degree in criminology. Pat was diagnosed with ALS on March 8, 2013, shortly after his 30th birthday. To raise awareness and funds for ALS and to offset his own rising expenses, he formed Quinn for the Win, and the Ice Bucket Challenge was one of his proudest endeavors. Patrick lost his battle with ALS on November 22, 2020, at the age of 37. And in his honor and all those lost to ALS, his family continues to fight until there is a cure. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Quinn family to Yankee Stadium. Next, we recognize a member of the Lou Gehrig Committee who has been a tireless advocate for the cause and a main reason we're celebrating tonight. Mike Crawford, the father of San Francisco Giants shortstop Brandon Crawford and the father-in-law of Yankees pitcher Gerrit Cole, has helped raise money for ALS charities through the Crawford Family Charity Golf Tournament. Worked with family of ALS to help petition Major League Baseball for tonight, and has been working with the Yankees to help bring together all these families to Yankee Stadium tonight. So let's have a warm round of applause for Mike Crawford for all the work he has done. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, we recognize one of the patients of ALS that was a driving force behind Lou Gehrig Day. Kevin Heller grew up in Rye, New York, and would attend the United States Military Academy at West Point and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1983. An incredible athlete and avid swimmer. In 2019, he realized he was having issues while swimming, and in July of that year, he was diagnosed with ALS. Kevin became an active member of the ad hoc committee, advocating and pushing for Lou Gehrig Day throughout all of Major League Baseball. Kevin passed away on January 5th at the age of 59. In February, he was posthumously presented with the ALS Association's National Hero Award for all he did in the fight against ALS. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Heller family to Yankee Stadium tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, as we recognize those that fought for Lou Gehrig Day and those who have lost their lives to ALS, we want to bring awareness to the fact that there is still no cure for this horrible disease. Just as we can never forget the legacy of Lou Gehrig on and off the field, let's never forget the legacy of Pete Frates, Pat Quinn, Kevin Heller, and the thousands of those who have lost their life to ALS. The New York Yankees are proud to be partnering with the ALS Association, Greater New York Chapter, to help raise money for ALS research. You can help as well. Please text ALS to 44321 today and help them to do whatever it takes to strike out ALS. Thank you. Now, please direct your attention to the scoreboard as we all listen to the immortal words of the legendary Lou Gehrig. And after hearing the stories of Pete, Pat, and Kevin, we hope you'll have a new appreciation for the words that the Iron Horse spoke on July 4th, 1939.
The past 2 weeks, you've been reading about a bad brag. Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I've been in ballparks for 17 years and have never received anything but kindness and encouragement from you fans.
Wouldn't you consider it privilege to associate yourself with such a fine-looking man as is standing in uniform in this ballpark today?
Look at these grand men. Which of you wouldn't consider it the highlight of his career just to associate with them for even one day? Sure, I'm lucky.
Who wouldn't consider it an honor to have known Jacob Ruppert? Also, the builder of baseball's greatest empire, Ed Barrow.
To have spent 6 years with that wonderful little fellow, Miller Huggins, then to have spent the next 9 years with that outstanding leader, that smart student of psychology, the best manager in baseball today, Joe McCarthy. Sure, I'm lucky.
When the New York Giants, a team you would give your right arm to beat, and vice versa, sends you a gift, that's something.
When everybody down to the groundskeepers and those boys in white coats remember you with trophies, that's something.
When you have a wonderful mother-in-law who takes sides with you and squabbles with her own daughter, that's something.
When you have a father and a mother who work all their lives so you can have an education and build your body, it's a blessing.
When you have a wife who has been a tower of strength and shown more courage than you dreamed existed, that's the finest I know.
So, I close it saying
That I might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you rise and remove your caps? Before tonight's national anthem, please join us in a moment of silence as we remember all the warriors against ALS who ultimately lost their lives to this relentless disease. With the courage, advocacy, and contributions from all of them, we are able to remember those affected by ALS tonight, including Lou Gehrig, Jim Catfish Hunter, Chris Pendergast, Anthony Sanerchia, Pat Quinn, Pete Freites, and Kevin Heller. Thank you. Tonight's anthem singer is a 60-year-old songwriter, keyboardist, photographer, and teacher from Nutley, New Jersey, who was diagnosed with ALS this past September. He's extremely proud and humble to represent all ALS patients on this historic night. Please welcome Jerry Tolvey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's ceremonial first pitch, as we celebrate the legacy of Lou Gehrig, we are highlighting those that are both fighting to find a cure for ALS while also fighting ALS. Our guest was a New York Yankees bat boy in the 1970s, but tragically last year, he was diagnosed with ALS. Throwing out tonight's ceremonial first pitch, please welcome Neil Herbst. Thank you, Neil. And fans, once again, please join us tonight in the fight against ALS. Please text ALS to 44321 to donate to the ALS Association Greater New York and help strike out ALS. Thank you.
Bueno, mi gente, Mozart la para de este lado. Un saludo para la máquina deportiva. Yauran.